Let me ask you something. What if chasing the dream of doing what you love is the exact thing that is burning you out? I've seen this happen way too many times than I can count. This is clients, friends, even myself. It's this thing that lights you up and then trying to get it to pay your bills. Somewhere along the way, it starts robbing you of joy. And this is not an easy thing to recover from. So, my friend, if this hits even just a little, I invite you to stay with me in this conversation today. But before we get into it, my name is Oliver Manalesa, and since 2012, I've been a guide for high achievers, helping them end the war within and unlock peaceful prosperity in their lives and in their businesses. So, my friend, if you are in a fog, if you're wondering about monetizing your gift, or you feel like you've hit a resistance point when it comes to continuing to do the work that is your purpose, that is your passion, then please use the link below and schedule a private guidance session with me. This is 75 to 90 minutes where we slow down, where we create a sacred pause. So you're not just trying to get new ideas, but you're getting an opportunity to reconnect with what is true. So if you're feeling the nudge and you want the support, hit the pause button for just a second to be able to reconnect with yourself, then please use the link below, schedule a guidance session with me. It would be an honor to be of service to you. So there's this real romantic notion. Just do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Does that sound familiar? And you know what? I think definitely it's cute until the bills come due. And I have seen this happen to myself over and over and over again. The thing that nobody really tells you is that as soon as you've turned your passion into the thing that pays you, it changes your whole experience of it. It changes your whole relationship with it. No longer are you in it for the love anymore. It becomes this whole song and dance. It becomes this whole performance that you got to do. And then now you're trying to extract validation from it. You're trying to produce content to feed the algorithm and get likes and get followers. And you're trying to use it to bring in leads. And, before you know it, that joy that you once had, it starts to feel like pressure. And the worst part is, because you love it so much, because you've connected it with your purpose and your passion, there's no real way to shut it off. There's no real way to turn your brain off. So when you've turned your livelihood and even your self-worth and you've had it tied to your gift, the whole thing can really start to feel like a grind. It can start to feel filled and fraught with friction. And so this is, I want to share this with you because it's so important that we recognize some of these aspects that we might be, these stories that we might be telling ourselves or that we've gotten sucked into. Look, not everything that you love is meant to pay you. Like I am a lover of chocolate croissants, okay? But that doesn't mean that I'm here to become a pastry chef or that I need to open a bakery. I love geeking out on coffee, different beans, how they're roasted, and different recipes, different techniques, whether it's pour overs or espressos. And, I really love these things, but it doesn't mean I'm going to become a barista. So there are some things that are incredibly joyful and sacred to us, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we gotta find a way to monetize it. I think as a society, we need to quit trying to turn everything into a financial gain. Some things are just for the sheer pleasure, the joy and the delight of it. And I think when we turn it into something that we have to prove ourselves and prove our worth, it gets to the point where it can really bite us in the ass in a way that it comes out of nowhere and you're like, wow, how did I do this to myself? So instead, I think, I invite you to consider asking yourself this question of, where do my gifts actually meet a deep need for somebody else? Where could it deliver a sense of sheer joy and delight for somebody else? So I think there's a perfect marriage of these two things. If there's an overlap that you can see where my purpose, my passion, my gifts can be of value, be of service, and do such tremendous good for where somebody is at, for what somebody needs, for what someone is going through, then yes, I think maybe there is a business there. Maybe there is something there for you to, turn into your work, to turn into your life's work even. But if that overlap isn't immediately obvious to you, then maybe that passion is meant to just stay a passion, and you might not be meant to try to extract profit from it, but just be playful and just keep it free. I think it's something that we don't always consider. And I think, asking ourselves a better question as opposed to, falling into some of these romanticized stories, these fantastical visions, we got to ask ourselves better questions rather than, how do I get paid doing what I love? Maybe we ask ourselves, where does God need me right now? Where does God need my gifts? And where could my gifts be of most use and of value? And to who? I think these are such important questions that, especially for me, there's been many, many times where I should have given up. I could have given up. It would have made sense for nearly everybody else to pull the plug and change directions and do something else. And that's why, when someone, they think they're complimenting me when they say, it's like, oh my God, isn't it great that you get to do what you love? What's so inspiring to see you doing what you love, Oliver. But man, if it was just about doing what I love, I would have pulled the plug a long time ago. It really came down to asking myself questions like I just shared with you, like God, praying to God, are my gifts needed somewhere else? Who could use my gifts? Where are my gifts needed? And that is part of the reason why I have continued forward with this path. And so I think if we are just in it to do what we love, but then you meet with friction and resistance and setbacks, it's not going to be enough. This guiding sense inside of us of, okay, there are people who can, receive a lot of good, a lot of delight, a lot of joy, a lot of peace from what I can create, what I can do, what I can deliver. And that becomes more of the North Star for us. So there's a really beautiful book that I love, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And he has this, there's a section in there and it hits me and I think about it all the time. And it's like, just imagine, right? Like when you have in your regular job, or if I look at even just past jobs that I've had, I've worked on assembly lines for automotive auto manufacturing. I've worked in recruiting and staffing. I've worked in retail in the past. And yeah, there's been times where I'm not inspired. I'm not energized. I'm not feeling the greatest, but man, I still showed up for work. I think you probably have a similar story. There's times where you don't feel like it. You'd rather be doing something else, but you still show up, and you punch in and you do your work and then you punch out. You don't need to be hyped up. You don't need all these habits to do it. But then what's so interesting is that when it comes to doing what we love, your passion, your purpose, there's this aspect where I know I have fallen for this of just like, I got to be in a good place. I got to be in the right mindset. I got to feel inspired. I got to feel empowered before I record a video, before I write a post, before I make a call, before I, strategize the next thing in my business. And if I don't, then it's a day off. I'm taking the morning off. I'm only going to show up when the muse shows up. And so he makes this distinction, Stephen Pressfield, in the book of just like the amateur versus the professional. The amateur will only show up if they're inspired, whereas the professional, They show up because it's their work. This is what they're here to do. And so this is, this is such an important lesson, not just for today, but moving forward, to just think about, like, hey, look, if we are doing work that is really close to our hearts, then we need to realize that there's many aspects of it that are going to create challenges for us. If we are if we are already paying for our bills and we are already paying for our lifestyle doing what we love, then we have to have some of these questions in our back pocket. Am I being an amateur, or am I being a professional? Are we praying to God on a regular basis when we feel like giving up, feel like failing, feel like changing directions? Are we asking God, are my gifts needed somewhere else? And I think if we're asking ourselves questions like that, and realizing that, oh, also, if I point my gifts in this direction, it solves a huge problem for people. It delivers a tremendous good for people that they're willing to pay me for it. I think if we're asking these questions, then we can have a better sense of the fact that, okay, maybe, we are, like, I am where I'm supposed to be. I am aligned. And even if I'm not romantic and inspired and really feeling it today, I still got to show up, because this is where God needs me to be. This is where God needs my gifts to be. This is where the people are at who are hurting, who are struggling, or they're seeking that upliftment. My product or my service can do that for them. So, it's really, to me, it's very sacred to be able to say that you do work that you love. But I think it's so important that you think about, like, it's not about just doing what you love. That's so self-focused in a way. It's so self-oriented. Think about, well, how can the thing that I love doing be of service to others? And I think that, just that these tiny shifts that we're talking about today can really change how much we honor and respect and, value this thing that we should get to do every single day. So, my friend, if you are wanting help, if you would like to have a space held for you, then I would love for you to schedule a guided session with me using the link below. I think, being able to slow down and have someone outside of yourself witness and nudge you along your process could be such a powerful step in getting you back to the place of clarity, because deep inside what you need to do next. And sometimes it's just a matter of untangling some of that fog so that you can execute and take the step that makes the most sense for you right in front of you. So, my friend, that is it for today. Such an honor for you to join me. Be well.